Hey friends, thank you so much for stopping by. It's Cold Stare, and in this video I'm going to go all over Azeroth to show you how to find and tame every spirit beast. First introduced in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, spirit beasts have since become one of the most popular and favorite pet families for beast mastery hunters to tame. They come in a wide variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, so no matter what kind of companion you like to have next to you as you adventure through Azeroth, you're sure to find something you like. They have the ability to dispel debuffs on themselves, and they can put this heal over time on you called Spirit Men, which makes them a great pet for raiding or Mythic Plus. Alright, let's get started. First up on our list is Gone, the Spectral Raptor that can be found in Orgrimmar. And just a friendly reminder, all these pets in this video are considered exotic, so you'll want to be in Beast Mastery Specialization to tame. So go ahead and head to the Valley of Spirits, right where I marked on the map there. And standing inside a hut, you're going to find an NPC named Shadow Walker Zuru, and on the ground next to him will be this pile of flaming skulls. And that's where we're going to find the spectral eggshell that you can right click to spawn Gone. Gone will despawn after some time, so make sure you're quick. And if the eggshell isn't there, that just means he's on a respawn timer, so you're just going to have to wait. You can come and tame Gone if you're Alliance, but just know that entering Orgrimmar will flag you for PvP, so just be ready for that. Lost Spectral Griffin can be found in Stormwind, and just like Gone, it's a very straightforward and simple pet tame. So you're just going to head to the Flight Master in the Trade District of Stormwind. Once there, look for the pile of hay, and if Lost Spectral Griffin is up and ready to be tamed, you're going to see this little blue feather. So go ahead and just right click on that. That will spawn the spirit beast. And like Gone, you want to make sure you're quick about taming, because after a short period of time, Lost Spectral Griffin will despawn and disappear. Horde players, you can come and tame the spirit beast as well. Just know that when you land and start taming, there's a good chance that you might aggro the elite Flight Master NPC right here, so just something to remember. Lighting Paw is the fox spirit beast found in Duskwood, and to tame it we're going to have to do a little bit of hunting, which is my favorite kind of tame to do. So go ahead and start by heading to any of these markers on the map. Once there, make sure you have track hidden on and zoom in on your mini map. And we're going to keep a close eye on that every time we go to one of these spots. And once you're close to Lightning Paw, just like you see here, you'll see it show up on your mini map. Now Flare will not expose Lightning Paw as you'll see here. So you can either use a target macro to find Lightning Paw, or you can just mouse over with your cursor like that. And then it's just a really easy pet tame. It can be on a long respawn timer, so you might have to be patient for this one. Next up on our list takes us to Northrend and Grizzly Hills, where we're going to find the Spirit Bear Arcturus, located just outside Amber Pine Lodge. Just kind of meanders around in a pretty small little circle, and it's a very straightforward pet tame. It's either going to be there or it's not. If it's not, you just have to wait. Thanks to, CRZ and war mode, stuff like that, it's a lot easier to get your hands on these rare spirit beasts, but back when Wrath was current, this was really difficult to get. There was always multiple hunters standing out here waiting for this tame. Now, not so much, but it's an amazing looking pet and a great addition to your stable. Another spirit beast found in Northrend is Skull, located in the Storm Peaks. Skull has this really interesting crackling lightning effect all over its body, and it can spawn in a few different locations. If you need to pause the map here to take a closer look, go ahead. Those markers are kind of hard to notice. In my experience, Skull can be kind of difficult to find. I don't know if it's still just a popular pet to tame or long respawn timer, but once you do find it, it's a really straightforward pet tame. And if you wanted to pair it with Hottie or Fenrir and really lean into that kind of Norse mythology theme for your hunter, that would be really cool. Another spirit beast found in Northrend is Gondria, located in Zuldrak, and similar to Skull, she has a few different spots you can spawn in. So go ahead and make your way to any one of those locations on the map to start looking for her. And provided she's up, it's just like the other ones, it's a very easy pet tame. If not, it's just a matter of waiting. I believe most of these spirit beasts in Northrend are on somewhere between a 4 to 7 hour respawn timer, so you might have to be patient. If you're struggling to find any of these, too many other hunters, you just can't find any of them, I recommend that you consider switching on war mode. That can really help depending on the size of your server. But yeah, there she is, a kind of ghostly purple skin, great pet, definitely worth coming out and getting. And here's the Spirit Panther Loknahawk found in Shalazar Basin in Northrend. And if you didn't play in Wrath of the Lich King, let me tell you, this was the holy grail of hunter pets for a long time. It was the ultimate statement piece, located in any one of those spots. For years, you could go into Shalazar Basin and do /who, and you could easily find 12 hunters, all camping the spawn points, waiting for their chance to tame Loknahawk. It was a very competitive pet tame. Now, not so much. Pretty much anytime I go through Shalazar Basin now, Loknahawk's always there. So it's aged really well considering how long ago that expansion was. Has this great blue teal glow in its mouth and eyes. So every hunter that's serious about taming should have Loknahawk in their stable. Banthalos is the green spectral owl located in Mount Hyjal, and to get to this pet we're going to have to do a little bit of work. The first thing you're going to want to do is do the main storyline through Mount Hyjal until you've completed the quest The Sanctuary Must Not Fall. This is where you help Malfurion resurrect Malorn. The next challenge is that Banthalos flies really high up in the air, and if you're trying to tame at max level and try to auto shoot to aggro and bring him to the ground, you're just going to kill him. And then if you do find a way to aggro him and go to the ground, he's going to tether. So what I recommend you do is bring a Feathermane pet, cast Updraft on yourself, dismiss it, fly up, use the toy Fruit Basket on Banthalos, and you have to land on this ledge around Malorn, or like I said, Banthalos will tether. Great looking pet though. I will put a link to the toy Fruit Basket in the description box. Another spear piece found in Mount Hyjal is Anka, the pale saber tiger. And similar to Banthalos, if you want to tame this one, you're going to need to do the main storyline until you've completed The Sanctuary Must Not Fall. Here's the path and the flame wake that Anka runs back and forth on. Anka has a buff that multiplies its attack based on how much armor value you have. So for a long time, when you wanted to tame this pet, you had to remove any piece of gear that had armor value on, or Anka would just one tap you. Now, not so much. You'll see in the Magria clip, I didn't trap or anything. I just tamed and there was no problem. So if you're in a leveling bracket though, you may still need to remove your armor. Magria is the blue saber tiger found in Mount Hyjal, and just like the last two, you need to do the quest line up until The Sanctuary Must Not Fall, otherwise she'll be phased. This is her patrol route that she runs back and forth on in the Flame Wake, similar to Anka. Now, what's important to know is that Anka and Magria share a spawn timer, so one or the other is going to be up. If you want Magria and Anka's up, you're going to have to tame it to try and get Magria to spawn, and vice versa, so just something to keep in mind. Magria also has the buff that makes her attack go up depending on how much armor value you have. But as you see in this clip, clearly it's not an issue anymore. I did nothing. I took no armor off and had no problems taming her. But just like Anka, if you're coming out here in a leveling bracket, you may still need to do that. But otherwise, great looking pet. Looks similar to Anka, but has a more bluish appearance. Definitely worth coming out and getting. Karoma is the ghost wolf found in Twilight Highlands, and the good news with this pet tame is there's no quest lines involved to gain access to it. It's unaffected by phasing, so a nice easy pet tame. Just start by heading and checking any of these spots marked on the map, and if you didn't know, Orgrimmar and Stormwind both have earth shrines with portals to the cataclysm zones in them, so go ahead and make use of that to get out to Twilight Highlands quickly. You'll also notice here that Karoma is hostile, which is interesting because most spirit beasts tend to be neutral, and it is the old vanilla wolf model, so if you prefer the older models for your pet tames, this might be the one for you. Hidden away in the abyssal depths in Vashir's the Spirit Crab Ghost Crawler, a tribute NPC named after the former lead developer for World of Warcraft, Greg Street Ghost Crawler, who I've actually had a conversation with and is a really nice guy. You'll just start by checking any of those spots on the map. Vashir was a really interesting new concept for a zone, being underwater, but unfortunately I think just the WoW hitbox doesn't lend itself well to underwater combat. But anyway, once you're out in the abyssal depths, you're going to start following path that he can be on, and Ghost Crawler phases in and out of stealth. Player isn't going to reveal him, track hidden isn't going to find him, and don't bother throwing an ice trap like I did, it won't work. Just try and get your hunter's mark on him and tame him quickly, because once he goes back into that stealth, it is hard to find him again. Elegon is the astral serpent found in the raid Mogushan vaults in Pandaria, and despite its appearance, it is not a cloud serpent. You will not need the tome How to School Your Serpent in order to tame, as it is a spirit beast. So start by heading to Mogushan Palace and Vale of Eternal Blossoms in Pandaria, and once there, you're going to head into this building where you're going to find an NPC named Lorewalker Han. So go ahead and speak to him and just ask to queue into the Vault of Mysteries. This is the fastest way to get to Elegon. It's a very linear and straightforward raid. You won't get lost. Just follow your map and you'll make your way to Elegon. And the next time you enter the raid Ulduar, pay attention to the load screen because you'll actually see a picture of Elegon in the artwork, so that's pretty cool. And just right click that item there and that will spawn and make Elegon hostile, and that's of course your chance to tame. You may want to give Elegon a moment to respawn and kill it again because it does have a chance to drop a mount that looks just like that. Hooia is the green spirit porcupine that can be found in the Jade Forest just outside the Tion Monastery. So go ahead and make your way out there, right where I've marked on the map. When this expansion first came out, this was a really difficult pet tame, right? Because Hooia has a buff that prevents it from being tamed until it's below 30% health. Hooia would chase you really fast, hit really hard, even try and heal itself. So back then it was a difficult tame. Now it's kind of the opposite problem. If you come out here max level and try and auto shot it, you're just gonna kill it. So what I recommend is use the toy whole body Shrinka, take off all of your gear and just punch it. And hopefully after 2 hits, it'll be right where where you need it to be, that'll be your opportunity to tame. I struggled a little bit with this, killed him a few times because it was during the Midsummer Fire Festival and I had that buff that caused extra fire damage, but hopefully you'll have an easier time at it. So definitely worth coming out and getting. Pathing around the southern border of the Valley of Four Winds, you can find the red spirit porcupine, Digu, and it kind of toes the line between Krasarang Wilds and just outside the Stormstout Brewery here. So go ahead and make your way out there, you can't miss it. And similar to Hooia, we have the same problem. We need to wear down Digu before we can tame it. Now, besides doing the removing all your gear and whole body Shrinka, if you don't have that toy, another method you can use to try and tame the porcupine is to fly high in the air near him, dismount, fall, take res sickness, head back, and your stats should be reduced enough to just like Hooia, punch it, and hopefully that'll bring its health down enough to tame. Gumi is the blue spear porcupine that can be found in Kunlai Summit in Pandaria, and just like the last two, we have to wear it down before we can tame. So go ahead and make your way to this spot I've marked on the map. There you'll find Gumi just hanging out waiting to be tamed. And a third way we can wear down these spirit porcupines to tame them is using the toy's soft foam sword, and I'll put a link in the description box on how to get that. It's perfect for situations like this where you're trying to wear down an enemy that you're much higher level than without killing it. And this is probably a good time for me to ask you guys, what do you think will be the next spirit beast that WoW introduces? Or what would you like to see? Which pet family would you like to see be the next spirit beast? For me, I would have to say probably Dragonhawks. They haven't had an update since Burning Crusade, and it would make a really cool spirit beast. Gara is the purple spirit wolf found in Shadowmoon Valley in Draenor, and this will probably end up being the most involved pet tame in the whole video. Because to have access to taming Gara, we need to complete a long chain quest and gather various items from different mobs all over Draenor. So start by heading to the burial fields in Shadowmoon Valley. There you'll find Gara laying there, and if you're in Beast Mastery Specialization, you'll have the option to start a dialogue with Gara, and this is what's going to kick off the chain quest that's going to allow us to tame her. Once you've done that, you're going to head north of Gara, still in the burial fields, and that's where you're going to find a rare named Mother Omra. And I believe to make her hostile, you have to defeat the NPCs around her, so go ahead and do that. Once you've defeated Mother Omra, you're going to loot the shadow berries off her, then return back to Gara, and you'll have this new dialogue options to show her the berries. So once you've done that, now it's time to create a spirit effigy, and to do that we're going to have to travel across Draenor and defeat these different mobs and gather these items that they drop. The coordinates I show in here, there's multiple locations for each one of these mobs. This is just where I went for each one. And the drop rates for the items weren't too bad. Each one of these items didn't take me long to get, so hopefully the RNG is on your side. Once you've gathered all the items, you're going to right click on the crude effigy in your bag, and that's going to combine them to create the spear effigy that we need. So go ahead and head back to the burial grounds in Shadowmoon Valley and place the spear effigy right next to Gara. That's going to cause Mother Omra to appear, and she's going to have a dialogue with Gara, which is then going to lead to the Lord of Glass Zahn appearing, and he's going to banish Gara to a sort of shadow realm. So to help Gara, we now need to get a Void Lantern. That's going to give us a 60-minute buff that allows us to see and access this sort of shadowy void realm she's been banished to. So you're going to head to the Pillars of Fate at these coordinates in Shadowmoon Valley. There you're going to find the Shadowmoon Void Twisters, and they have a chance to drop the lantern. I forgot to get a screen cap of the map, but go ahead and head to these coordinates in Shadowmoon Valley, and there you're going to find a Void Blade lodged in the tree. Go ahead and click on that, and that'll put you in the same realm with Gara. So once you're in this void realm and Gara's next to you, the good news is we're finally in the home stretch. So when this expansion was current, this part of the quest was a little bit challenging. These were elite void walkers. It took a little while to bring down, but now it's just trivial. It's not difficult at all. So you're just going to run over the field and just continue defeating these void walkers, and eventually Zahn, the Lord of Glass, will appear. And then you're just going to head over to him, defeat him. Mother Omra will appear and have a little moment with Gara, and then you're going to have the opportunity to tame her. If you've ever watched any of my other Hunter Pet Tame videos, you know these are my favorite. I love pet tames that require work and effort to get to, quest lines, phasing, whatever. It just makes it feel more special to me than just flying up to a pet that's just sitting there and taming it and moving on. So here's Gara, an amazing looking spirit beast, a sort of dark purple, ethereal skin. Now, while we've got this Void Lantern buff, because I do believe you need it to see the Lost Nether Wolf at these coordinates in Shadowmoon Valley, you may as well come over to tame it. And you can only see this pet if you've completed this quest line. This is meant to be a replacement if you were ever silly enough to actually release Gara, or if you just wanted the matching tandem pet to go with it. But there it is. Great looking hunter pet, well worth the work. Bolvinkle is the Spirit Elderhorn found in the Legion's own Stormheim, just south of the Halls of Valor. So go ahead and make your way to this spot I've marked on the map. And similar to the Spirit Beast in Northrend, this is a really simple pet tame. And that's because the challenge of taming Bolvinkle in early Legion was its location. This was prior to the Pathfinder achievement, so you couldn't just fly up there. So reaching Bolvinkle was a little bit of a pain. You had to follow a pretty specific path, hop up cliffs, took a little while to reach it, but now it's just a really simple pet tame. So it would go really well if you have the mount Spirit of Ekaro. And Bolvinkle seems to be on about a 6-hour respawn timer. Manasabers are spirit beasts found all throughout the Legion Zone Suramar, and they come in 3 different colors, so I'll show you how to get one of each. The good news here is if you're a hunter that's looking for an accessible, easy to tame spirit beast, this might be the one for you. No chain quests involved or hours of waiting. They're pretty easy to find. To get a blue one, head just south of Moonguard's Stronghold. And sleeping just outside of a cave, you'll find one, so go ahead and trap and tame it. This is probably also a good time for me to mention that as you travel around in Suramar, you might come across thicket hunters. They look very similar to Manasabers, but they are not spirit beasts. They are in the cat family, so just something to keep in mind if you see those. To find the indigo Manasaber, go ahead and head to this spot on the map. There you'll find the rare Myonyx, another really easy pet tame. Once you've tamed that, to find the purple Manasabers, you're going to head back to Moonguard's Stronghold, and they're pathing all around with the Nightborn NPCs. You can find them, so just find the one you like and tame it. And here's Hottie, the Storm Wolf, probably one of the most popular spirit beasts, and with good reason, because Hottie's a good boy and a great looking hunter pet. So to tame Hottie, if you're Alliance, you're going to start by heading to the Trade Winds Market in Borealis. If you're Horde, you're going to head to the Grand Bazaar in Dazara lore. Once there, you're looking for the Image of Mimiron, and he's going to offer this quest, Spark of Genius. This is what's going to kick off the chain quest that's going to allow us to tame Hottie. This is going to lead you into the Storm Peaks just outside Ulduar, where we're going to reunite with Griff. And then it's just as simple as following the quest objectives. It'll lead you out to Silithus and back. You'll know you're getting close when Mimiron offers you this quest, Bonds of Thunder. That's going to lead you up to Thorim in the Storm Peak. And when Thorim offers you Reverberation, this is the end of the quest line. And this is going to be your opportunity to summon and tame all the different colors that Hottie comes in. You'll also want to make sure after you summon and tame all these different variations of Hottie, you'll notice Clockwork, the little mechanome on the right there. Make sure you stop by and talk to him. He sells a lot of fun flavor items for Hottie. And the Thunder Spark that you click on to summon Hottie will permanently be there if you ever need to return back to retame Hottie or any of the colors for any reason. But there it is, an incredible looking spirit beast, well worth the work to tame. Blood Gullet is the hidden spirit beast found in the Anaran Plains. It's a spectral blue Armorodon and can only be seen if you have the buff Essence of Awakening. So to get that buff, go ahead and head to this spot I've marked on the map. There you're going to find a hut, and inside that hut is a pile of dust. And if you click on that, it'll give you the hour-long buff that allows you to see Blood Gullet. So then you're going to mount up and head just south of the Marukai flight path, and that's where we're going to find Blood Gullet if he's up. If not, you're just going to have to wait a while. Not sure what the respawn timer is, but I usually have good luck finding him there. Fun fact, if you ever go to Wowhead and look up Blood Gullet, go to the second page of comments where the downvoted comments are, and you'll find a comment from Cold Stare that's downvoted. And that's because when he first came out, I commented that when you use Bestial Wrath, he loses his transparency and becomes solid. I got downvoted for that. I even stopped while making this video to check, and it's still like that. So feel free to stop by and pile on more downvotes. I'm not sure why. It's good information, but anyhow, amazing looking spirit beast, probably one of the bigger ones you can tame, so worth coming out and getting. And here's Sor Rocka, the red Loa tiger found in the Emerald Dream. This is probably my favorite spirit beast and one of my top 5 pet tames in the whole game. I love the design of Sor Rocka, the name, everything about her is great. This is a route she follows. It takes just around 20 minutes, and this is a tracking tame, which are really fun because we get to do hunting, and that's just great class fantasy. What you're doing is looking for these heavy tracks. You can either set in one spot or fly around looking for them. Once you do find these heavy tracks, you're going to pay attention to what side the toe beans are on, because that's going to be your indicator of what direction Sor Rocka is heading. Then you're just going to follow these tracks until you reach the end of them. And just like in this clip, once you find the end, that's when you want to start flaring. Sor Rocka will walk into the flare, and that's your opportunity to put Hunter's Mark on. You may want to ice trap Sor Rocka because taming her doesn't cause aggro, so she can walk out of the range of your tame beast. But there it is. Just this was when Blizzard started to deviate from all the spirit beasts being that kind of ethereal blue and giving them their own unique design. So amazing pet. Naki is the fiery Somnal, also found in the Emerald Dream, and you may notice here I do not have a clip of Naki, and that's because I'm unable to tame currently this amazing spirit beast. You have to get the Reins of Anirolos, which is a mount that has a low drop chance from Mythic Varrock in the raid Yggdrasil. Once you get that, you'll get Cinder of Companionship. This puts an account-wide unlock for the Tame. So any class on your account can get the mount and you'll get that. So probably worth making part of your weekly rotation if you don't already have it. Naki Fly is really high up near the canopy of Yggdrasil, so if you try and pull it to the ground, it's just going to tether to Tame, and you need to pay attention to where he flies, and any route that he flies over, what you need to do is stay mounted in the air, shoot Naki to get its attention, land on the route, and that will be your opportunity to Tame. And here's the final spirit beast of the video, friends. Ardan can be found in the Rookery. This is the spirit beast that was added in the War Within. And this isn't too difficult of a pet tame, but you do need to get your hands on the Void-Scarred Stormhammer, which is laying on the ocean floor at these coordinates. So hop on your favorite aquatic mount, make your way to the bottom there, and lying next to some kelp, you'll find the hammer. Go ahead and loot that. Once you got that, I'm going to recommend you queue into the Follower dungeon for the Rookery. It can be any difficulty you want, but if you're just in there to tame Ardan, may as well just do the Follower dungeon. So you will need to defeat the first boss to tame Ardan. Go ahead and hop down the shaft. Once you're at the bottom, you're going to take a left-hand turn, and that's when you're going to be in this hallway and you're going to see some stairs. So go ahead and make your way up those, and then you'll be on the landing. Once you're on the landing, that's when you're going to be able to see Ardan flying around. And you'll notice Ardan is a friendly target, and we're of course unable to tame friendly targets, and that is what we need the hammer for. So you'll need to target Ardan, and that's when you're going to use the Void-Scarred Stormhammer in your bags. Ardan will come down, land, and will become neutral. That'll be the time to tame, and you'll notice the follower NPCs do not interfere with it. And that's all there is to it. There is 5 other slightly different variations to Ardan if you want those, so you would just leave the dungeon, reset, and re-enter. So amazing looking spirit beast, worth coming out and getting. And that's how to find and tame every spirit beast in Azeroth, at least as of the War Within. I'm sure in the future there'll be more add, and I'll certainly make videos for those. But if you think you saw any mistakes or have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the box below. Take care, friends, and I'll see you in Azeroth.